Hi guys, good evening. Shiva here. So guys, in our session is where we are completely dedicatedly looking into this concept of workflow derivation rules, the way how the workflow will be configured and the way how the business rules will be used to trigger the workflow and all. Followed by, we'll be looking into the concept of event reason derivation rule. A similar concept, whatever we have seen in terms of workflow derivation rule, is what we are going to look towards in the name of event reason derivation rule. Okay, so let me just show you the implementation sequence of steps document once again. Yeah, so here in the EC implementation sequence of steps, the standard 14-step process, this workflow derivation rule is what we are done. The similar concept is called the event reason derivation rule that we have. We have to look into this now. So before we get into this, any questions from anyone on the workflow derivation rule concept or any other previous topics? Anyone? Okay. So let me get into the agenda of the event reason derivation rules. Let me first log in. So for this event derivation rules concept to be working, first I have to make some settings in the provisioning side. Let me get them enabled so that I will showcase you that feature. Okay. So now getting into the employee record of Anya Singh. Now this is the employee record of Anya Singh, guys, where the job information over here we'll have the list of all the events that are performed on the employee record, right from hiring, any promotions, transfers, and any kinds of, what do you say, separation, suspension, till the separation of the employee from the company. All the events will be available in the job information. If you go to the history, here you will be able to find it on the left hand side. So the first one is a hiring record, where the event, if you click on this record, the event is hire. Event reason is called new hire is what we have. Next, in 2016 and 2014, there is a data change where the data changes, the supervisor change that has happened. In 2016, there is a job title update in the data change that has happened. Like this, the event and the event reason is what we have in all these places. Event and event reason. So these events and event reasons are basically defining the activity, what has actually occurred. The transaction, what has been actually performed is what we are able to look at here. Normally, when you are actually doing the employee hiring process, right from beginning from the add new employee screen, if you go for this add new employee transaction, in the very first place itself, in the very first line, we used to see this field called event reason, where we have some reasons, event reasons, where employee central module is all about events. In that, in the screen, add new employee, the actual event what we are performing is hiring. So in that hire event, these are the event reasons. That is, with what reason you are hiring him. So you are hiring, that is clear. With what reason you are hiring? Is that in complete new hire or international transfer of an employee from India to US to Canada kind of, or it is an acquired employee where your company acquired other third-party company and their employee database is going to be merged into your database. So what kind of a new entry is created in the system will have a reason. Similar way, for the existing employees, if I are going to make any changes, going into the change job and comp information, in the job information of the employee, where you find the entire org information, like the location, department, business unit of the employee, all this information. Here, if I'm changing the location of an employee from this US, current location of US to Atlanta, Chicago, anything, before I do the transaction, here I can have the event and the event reason maintained, guys, which is a mandatory field you see over here. Event is what we can maintain, whether I'm doing a transfer or a promotion or a demotion, okay, or a simple data changes. So that way, the event is what I can choose. And for the event that I choose here, system can also help me with the event reasons, okay. So I'll just show you here. If I choose event as a promotion, the one more field will come on the screen over here called event reason. Where going under this, you will have this event reasons. So if it is a promotion, promotion with pay change, promotion without pay change. If it is with pay change, less than 5% change, greater than 5% change. There are some, it's all types. Some places you can call it as a reason, some places you can call it as a type of promotion, type of transfer, anything. You can use it as a further classification of the event what you are performing. The further classification of the event that you are performing is what we maintain in the event reason. For a promotion, types of promotions. For a transfer, types of transfers. Like that, we can have the events and event reasons. So the advantage of it is, tomorrow if you want to take out a report on the entire transactions, the entire life cycle of events that has occurred in the employee record level, you just by depending on the event and event reason fields, we will able to understand in last 15 years what are the changes that has happened on this employee record. He is joined in 20. He is joined in the year of 20. What is it? 2008. In 2010 he got promotion. 2011 he got a transfer. Okay, 2015 he was suspended for 2 months. Like that, just by looking at the event and event reasons, you will be able to identify what has actually happened. So because whenever any data change is being updated, the event and event reason is being highlighted in that record. Event and event reason is being saved in that. Just by looking at the event and event reason, we can identify what has happened in 2017, kind of. I need not look into each and every field, what got updated here and all. I need not look into each and every field, and I need not compare actually. So that is for a better reporting purposes. This event reasons will be used for events and event reasons will be used for the better reporting purpose. Right from hiring, followed by any kinds of data transaction changes, and till the termination of an employee. Even here, when you're going to terminate an employee, guys, we'll have this option here. If you want to terminate, here you will have the termination reason. Reason for termination is that employee voluntary resignation, or it is, what do you say, retirement, voluntary retirement, or is that employee's official retirement age has occurred. Okay, like this different reasons of termination can be present here. So event is termination. The termination reasons are brought up in the script. So that way, event reason is something that is going to define you the type of activity what you're performing in the system. That makes it very easy for the reporting purposes further on the data analytics part. Okay. Any queries on this? The event reason, high level understanding of the definition of it. Why do we use it and all? Okay. So now here we have to look at where is this event reason created. So events are standard success factors pre-delivered, guys, but event reasons are something you have to create. Okay, events are SF delivered. Event reasons are what we have to configure. Where events is a standard pick list actually. If you go to the pick list center, you'll be able to find the standard events where SF has covered all the possible events, what could be expected. If you go for this pick list center, so here at the pick list center, we'll be able to find it. You search here with the keyword as event. You get this. Just go for this event and you'll have almost around 30 plus events. All this. These are the different events. Provision, completion of provision, pay rate changes, position change, okay, return to work, return from disability, termination, demotion, general data changes, different kinds of events are present. Transfer, suspension, promotion, all these. Okay. So this events, what you see on the screen, almost 36 different types of events is what standard success factors pre-delivered. But event reasons, what we see on the front end are not SF pre-delivered. These are something customer specific we have to create. So for hiring as an event, what all different types of hiring you do in your company? That is customer has to tell me the way how they want to differentiate the different hirings. Okay, so this international transfer, if it's a company only established in one country, they don't have any other locations in any other countries, then this international transfer doesn't apply for them. So like that. So what are the different cases of employee hirings that can happen? They have to give us the reasons. Similarly, promotions, different reasons of promotions, different reasons of transfers, all that customer has to create, customer has to give us, and we'll create. So that is where we have to work on the event reason creation. And where do we create the event reason? Coming to that point of discussion. So as we have been referring to that Excel sheet, let me just open that Excel sheet of all the objects related. So this is the one, guys. So whereas we have been focusing on these objects like workflows, dynamic roles, these two things, workflows and dynamic roles, is what we have been focusing in yesterday's session. Now we are dealing with event reasons as well, which are also coming from the corporate data model, and they are referred as the additional foundation objects. Now in such case, where do I have to create the event reasons? Anyone? Where should I create the event reason? Lake, Shaker, Kavya, anybody? Somebody has to speak out, guys. Where do we create the event reasons? What kind of an object it is?
In manage organization.
Manage or job pay structure. Okay, the place where we have been working on workflows and dynamic roles, as obviously the same place the event reason will also be part of it. As you see on the screen currently, it is referred as a legacy foundation object. So legacy foundation objects, where do we create? It is manage org job pay structure clear. Okay. So now let's go to this manage org job pay structure now. Manage organization pay and job structures. And over here is where you will have this. Scroll down. Here you have the event reason along with the dynamic roles and workflows that we have been looking at this. Now we have this event reason as well here, and these are the various event reasons that were created in this demo system as a sample. But whereas in the real time you don't have it standard delivered, you have to check with the customer based on their input. We have to create it. So now if you say location related, say location transfer as a event reason, so this is how it looks like. As same like similar like any other object, you'll have a start date followed by the event reason ID, name, description, status. The ID, name, description, status are the common things. So specific to this event reason object, you have this event employment status that you have to focus. So every event reason is linked with a particular event, guys. For this location transfer as a event reason, the actual event is transfer. Under transfer, you will have location transfer, department transfer, business unit transfer, anything. So first thing is you are going to have a transfer as an event that is being performed. So here you will have a standard drop down of all the events, which is nothing but the pick list center level, what 36 values that we are seeing here. These 36 values are what that are coming into the event drop down here. Okay. So now this is connected with the event. So that is how you will have the event reasons created in the SuccessFactors system from manage organization page job structures. We have multiple event reasons like this, right from the new hire related, which is the new hire related, this one. Right from this new hire, you have promotions, transfers, termination related, resignation related. So multiple you will have. So voluntary resignation. So these are the fields. Same fields, of course, the titles will change. Whereas you have something called as employee status. This employee status is what you have to cautiously use, guys. So because of the activity that you're going to do, if the employee status is going to change, then only we have to maintain the employee status field. So you are going to hire an employee, a new employee you're going to hire at any point of time. So hiring a new employee, first time you're going to set the status as active. So then you can set the status as active here. Later on, if you're going to do a transfer of an employee, because of transfer, will the employee status change? Before transfer also he'll be active, post transfer also his status will be active only. So now for this transfer, we did not maintain any employee status. We leave it blank. That's important. Similarly, if I'm going to do a promotion, and I'm doing promotion, will there be any expected change of employee status? No. Here also it is not maintained. If I'm going to suspend an employee, then suspension, yes, the status will be as suspended. So now employee status is highlighted as suspended here. Similarly, if I'm terminating an employee, it will be as terminating. Due to any reason I'm terminating, for any event reason of termination, you get the status as terminated, like this. And if you are suspended and if the employee is returning to work, return from leave or suspension related itself, you have something called a recall from suspension, I guess. Yeah, recall from suspension example. So when the employee is coming back from suspension, again we keep the status back to active. So when we have suspended, we have kept it as suspended. So now when we have written, when we are calling him back, we'll keep the status back to active, like that. So employee status is a field that you should be very cautiously maintained. So for the data change that you're going to perform through this event reason, is the employee status change expected, then only you maintain it, else not. So that is the way. So these are all the fields right from the start date till the employee status is what we are required to be concerned. The other fields are relevant only in case of employee central payroll related. If there is anything in the employee central payroll related, the payroll consultants will tell us what to maintain. Else, these are the only fields that we are concerned about in the employee central maintenance. Okay. So this is how an event reason will be created. Where do we create it and where do we use it? Any queries still here? Anyone? Fine, guys. And now the point is here, while you are going to perform the employee data transactions, if I'm going to make Anya Singh's data changes, I'll go for change job on comp info and I'll initiate the process here where I choose job info, the effective data change. So immediately effective is a change or what, we'll choose the date, and then followed by here we'll have the event. So the event is, we have to specify what I'm going to change. If I'm going to make the transfer of location, so transfer is what I choose, and event reason is location transfer. So transfer of location also I've chosen, both event reason. And here I have to come and make the change of location accordingly, whatever I want to change the location, and I can save. That will be one way of process. That is a process how it has to be actually executed. But now, keeping the event and event reason as a location transfer related. But if I come and change here the employee's department example, instead of location, if I'm going to change the department of an employee and save it, then you're going to have an inconsistency where the event and event reason says it's a location transfer that has happened in 2022, but actually happened is department transfer. Then the main purpose of maintaining the event reason is for having a better reporting process. And now if you say that reporting itself is not correct, then there is no point in doing this. So to avoid these kinds of mistakes, SF has brought up an option that instead of user selecting the event and doing the activity, directly let the HR user do whatever they want. On the employee record level, they want to change the location or a department or whatever, let them do whatever that is required to be done. And they click on the save button. When they click on save, now we will validate what fields are updated. If for that fields being updated, what will be the applicable event and event reason? The business rule will assign it dynamically instead of the user selecting it manually. Okay, so we can directly go and make the necessary changes and click on save. On save, system will identify if business unit is changed, business unit transfer as an event reason. If location is changed, location transfer as an event reason. Accordingly, the system can automatically give the event reasons based on the business rules. So that concept of deriving the event reason through business rules without having the user selecting the event and event reason on the screen is what we call this concept of event reason derivation, guys. Sorry, this one. Event reason derivation. This is a rule. This is a concept that we are going to now look towards. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Any others? Okay. So now here it is clear that we have to make use of the business rule. And when we click on the save button is where the rule has to trigger and it has to identify what is the event reason applicable in that case. So let's go for the business rules concept. One second, guys. Yeah, so I'm just opening the business rules. So this is a place where we have the business rules content where we can create the rules. Here, on clicking on the plus icon on the right hand side, we can start creating the rules where we have to select a scenario as usual. Let's go for the basic on the left hand bottom and select the scenario. And then now on the right hand side, we'll choose the base object for the rule. Now for this rule, my logic is whenever there is a change of data, for that data change, what is applicable event reason, we want to pick it. So now if that is a condition, what should be the base object that you have to take? What should be the base object that you have to take if you're going to write the condition for this event reason fields to be triggered? Anyone? Give it, try, gentlemen. What should be the base object?
Yes.
Please. Can you come up with your any option, whatever you feel? Now for writing the business rule on this event reason to be populated, what should be the base object taken for this case? How will you identify
location?
Please tell me. How will you
Location?
identify object?
Answer.
I'm asking, how will you identify base object? Tell me that first. Somebody.
Because it's a transfer, so it could be location.
See, I'm not asking you to answer me now. What is the base object? That answer is done. I asked that question 5 times. Nobody answered. Now I changed my question.
Location we can say base object, base transfer.
I'm not going to listen that answer, sir. My question.
We'll have 2 versions there, normal version and model version.
No, even not that. My question is, how do you identify the base object? Shaker.
Here my doubt is base object means that is only confusion means. What means what do you mean that logic, sir?
Here I've told you when you're writing a business rule for address related portlet, we have written a workflow, right? We write a workflow to trigger the workflow, we written a business rule, right? So what did I tell you? To write the condition on the address portlet fields. Address is the base object I have told you. In address, later on you will have the normal and the model versions, that is secondary. So on which fields you want to write the conditions and trigger some logics and all, that will be a base object.
Hey, you know, ZaranTech now offers SAP corporate training. That's right. Train your workforce in SAP with our comprehensive program. We offer customized courses, certified trainers, and hands-on labs for both individuals and businesses. Our standout features: bespoke training, fully configured servers for practice, in-house materials, and a dedicated LMS. Plus, get session recordings and 24/7 support. From functional to technical modules, we have got it all. Choose ZaranTech for SAP training and watch your team excel. Learn, upskill, succeed with ZaranTech.
Now I'm going to write the condition on which fields, event reasons, or in all these fields. So I have to check whether business unit is changed or division is changed or location is changed. When user clicks on save, which field is changed I have to identify.
Yeah, I got it.
Status.
What status here?
Actually, sir, my understanding
Transfer?
is here. If you
Yeah, go ahead.
are using the event region, transfer location, only location should be changed. Other objects like department change or nothing should be changed.
Why are you complicating that much? I'm just simply saying you the approach of your condition is if address portlet level, if any field is changed, workflow has to be triggered. To identify address portlet level, if anything is changed, you have taken the base object as address and you have started writing the rule, either address or address model, whatever. You have taken this and you have started. Because address is a portlet name. Now we are required to check the condition on these fields. If business unit is changed, division, department, location, if anything is changed, is what you have to validate when you click on save. If these fields have to be validated, these fields belong to which portlet? All these fields belongs to which portlet, guys?
Job information.
That is the base object. I'm telling the answer one side. If the condition is on address portlet fields, address portlet has become the base object. Now if the fields are of job information is the base object. Base on which object you are going to base all your conditions is the point. Okay. The conditions I'm going to base on the fields like location, department, all this, where these fields are part of the job information as the object. So now we are required to take, while you're writing a rule, job information. Same like address has two base objects, even for job also you will get two, the normal one and the last one as model. Just leave about ignore the second one. Job information model. Now second step, we have to think about whether it is the normal or the model. That is second. But first, when you are going to write a rule, the rule is based on which object is what you have to identify. Because when you write a rule, system will ask the conditions. So if you have to write a condition on which fields you are going to write the conditions, these fields, if department is equal to department.previous value, if location is say equal to location.previous value, that fields of that portlet is where I am validating. So that portlet is what I have to take as the base object. Got it? Remember that, guys. Business rules is a very important topic. If you just concentrate, it is a very easiest topic again. On which screen I am going to write my conditions, that screen belongs to, that fields belongs to which screen is what, that is a base object. My condition is now on any of these fields. So these are all the fields part of the job information portlet, that is a base object. Address portlet level I have written the conditions. Those fields are part of address portlet. That is a base object that I have taken that way. Okay. So now going to the business rule, taking job information. In job information, now tell me, should we go for the normal or the model version? Normal or the model version? So at least tell me, what did we learn? Why should we go for the model version that we understood as? Why should we go for the model?
We have a multiple nested if conditions.
No?
To check the previous value.
Excellent. To check the previous value, whenever you are required to compare the current data on the screen with the previous value in the database, to dot previous value as an indicator to be used, we have to go for the model version, is what we have understood. So now in our current situation, for this case, to have the event reason identified based on the data change. So should I need the normal or the model? Anyone? Now, what kind of logic are we going to write, guys? We need the event reason. If business unit changed, business unit related event reason should come. If location is changed, location related event reason as transfer location should come. If department changed, transfer of department as an event reason should come. So first, if I have to pick the event reason, first I should understand is there is data change. So to identify that there is a data change is the rule condition. So what should we do now?
Model version should be
Model.
used.
Exactly. Model is required because I am required to compare the current values on the screen with the previous values. So when I compare, I'll understand whether there is a data change or not. If I identify that business unit is changed, I'll say business unit transfer is the event reason. If I identify location is changed, I'll say location transfer is the event reason, like that. Okay. So now I'm going to the business rule where I'll just keep it as job information model. So if I just maintain the base object and if I explain the topic, in last 5 minutes, what are questions I asked? If I don't ask you, this topic will run very fast. I can complete the session in 1 hour, but that's not the intention. When I'm doing something, you guys have to understand why am I doing it. That's why I keep questioning it multiple times, guys. Okay, so if selected job information, why job information? In that job information model, why not the normal one? It should be clear to you guys. If I just keep on entering something on the screen and if I complete the session, that's not useful, right? That's not my intention at all.
Thank you, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. So now job information model is the base object that we are using because we need to validate with the current value with the previous values. So I'll just keep some rule name, custom event reason derivation underscore July 3. So some rule name I've kept, and let us start writing the condition. Now the conditions is we just have to start checking each and every field where if business unit. Now if you first observe this, job information related fields have come. All the job information portlet fields have come in the list. Yesterday address portlet fields have come because we have chosen the address portlet yesterday, address model. All the address portlet fields have come. As we have taken the base object as job information model, in the drop down job information portlet fields are coming. Like that, on what area you are writing the conditions is the base object that will become. So now business unit dot value, which is the current value on the screen, if it is not equal to business unit dot previous value, like this, business unit dot current value is not equal to business unit dot previous value, then here the way we have set the workflow, similar way here we can set the event reason, guys. So here in the list of fields in the alphabetical order, if you see there is an event reason field, select event reason dot value and we set the event reason for business unit change. So here you will get list of all the event reasons that are created in the manage organization page job structure. And here if you select with that business unit as a keyword, you'll just get that business unit change as an event reason that is created. This is how it looks like. Just a second. Yeah. So if business unit dot current value is not equal to business unit dot previous value, then the event reason applicable will be business unit change. But not only one condition. I have multiple fields. Add else if. One more condition. If department is changed, if department dot value is not equal to department dot previous value. So then again this time we have to set the relevant event reason applicable for that. Set in the same job information model. Here you have event reason field. Set event reason dot value equal to department related whatever is the event reason. The system will display. Select the transfer of department. This is the event reason. Like this, we can keep on having the conditions on each and every field. Business unit followed by department followed by location. All the fields you can validate. So whichever field is identified, that relevant event reason is what we can have it picked up by the system. So what all fields commonly the company will change is what again the customer has to give us the all possible scenarios. So some companies say once we hire an employee in a department, we never do any change of department. Either we terminate the employee, but we don't change him. If I hire him for finance, I'll use him for finance only. I'm not going to change him to HR, IT anywhere. So that way. So what are the possible combination of changes that we can expect in the company? The business user has to give me all possible scenarios. Is there a chance that department and location both will be changed at a time? Okay. Or division and business, the division and department will change at a time. So what are the possible combinations? The customer has to give us all the possible. So for all the combinations, we will write the business rules. Now the way this rule is written, business unit is changed or department is changed. Else if both department and business unit, if both are changed at a time, then for that, what will be the event reason? We can write all the possible conditions, whatever customer is able to give us, what all possible scenarios they are able to anticipate. They can give us all the scenarios we can configure in the rule. And finally, you try to come across all the changes. I mean, all the maximum conditions you have validated. Business unit, you identify that there is no change. Department also no change. Then finally, there is something changed, but we are not able to identify what is the change. Then without else if, I can simply add as else. If nothing you are able to identify what is changed, so you keep it as set event reason as a generalized one. Set event reason as a generalized one called. We will create one event reason in the name of data change, guys. A generalized one called data change. What data change? We don't know. Simply data change is what we say. Generalized. That is way. business unit change, department change, or simply data change as a generalized, because definitely when the user clicks on the save button, if the data has to be saved, it needs some event reason. Without event reason, the transaction cannot save. So some or the other event reason we have to definitely give. So of all the possible scenarios at the ending, we recommend to keep it as a generalized event reason as data change. That way. So this way, each and every field of the portlet with what all possible data combinations can be changed as per the client requirement, we will write the rule conditions on all that and we'll save this rule. Okay. Any queries around this? Okay. So now, once the rule is written, what should be the next step, guys? We should link the rule with the relevant portlet. The way we have linked the rule with the address portlet, now also this rule is what we have to link it with the portlet. So now this rule we have to link it with which portlet and in which place, with which portlet I have to link, in which place I have to link.
Trigger rules.
Trigger rules area, very good. But for of which portlet, but and in which screen is it?
Manage business configurations.
Very good, manage business configuration because it's a portlet. And in that which portlet?
Job information.
Exactly, because our portlet on which we have written all this business rule and all is a job information portlet. So go to business configuration, job information portlet on the left hand side. If you select it, and now on the right hand side, the job information portlet with all its sets of fields will be appearing. So this is with the list of all the fields that you have here. And here under the trigger rules area is where we have to assign the rule. So in this demo system, there are various rules that were assigned here. So let us at the bottom assign our rule. Job information model. Clicking on save is where the rule has to trigger. That is on save. One second, it got stuck. On save as an event. And what is the rule that you have to give? The one that is ending with July 3 that we have created. That's it. Event reason derivation related rule. Click on save. So the same three-step process what we have done yesterday. First we have created the workflow in the manage or job pay structure to the event reason. Then we have written a business rule to trigger the workflow. Now we are writing a business rule to trigger the event reason. And link that rule with the relevant portlet called address portlet in the manage business configuration. In the address portlet, in the job info, we have connected it. And the event in this case is both the same, on save event. When you save the data, the rule is triggering. Okay. So this is how I can maintain this condition such that next time whenever anybody is going to make a change, system is not expecting the event and event reason field to be selected by them. So they will just give the date and directly make the change, whatever they want to make the change, and click on save. Further changes, what will be the applicable event reason, system will pick it through business rule. The user need not give the input. Okay. And for this functionality to work, guys, in the provisioning, we have an activation that we have to take care. Let me just show you. For this event reason business rules to work, we have an activity. Let me get into the provisioning. So let's get into the provisioning system. And here in the company settings, the very first one where we have all the company settings. In this company settings over here, if you do a Control F search with the keyword as event reason. So here you have it, guys. This one. Enable business rules for event reason derivation. This is a concept. Enable business rules for event reason derivation. This is what you have to enable. If you enable this, so system is going to concentrate on the business rules for assigning the event reason instead of the user's input. System will look for the business rules. So let me just activate this in the system and let us go to the front end. So whenever you are actually making some changes in the provisioning and trying to save, this pop-up will come where you have to enter the company ID and confirm. So once this is saved, we have to log out and log in back in the front end instance side, else the changes will not reflect. So let us log out and log in back. So let me log in once again. So this time, let's go to the NSX profile again. And in the NSX profile, if I go for changing the transaction data, like our department, location, anything, choose job information. Once I choose the effective date, system should give me the fields called event and event reason here. But now it will no longer give the event and event reason. It's not expecting the event and event reason input from the user anymore now. It says you directly go and make the change, whatever you want to make the change. Okay. And after the change is completed, you click on save. You don't see the fields called event and event reason on the screen at all here. That is, business rule is going to take care. When I click on save button, clicking on save, that rule will trigger It will check all the conditions, whether business unit is changed or division is changed or location is changed, everything. So for that change, whatever change, what is the applicable event reason, system will be able to derive through the business rule and it will assign. It will not show up the fields at all. But once the record has been saved, you will find it here in the job information history level. Here in the job information history, you will be able to find with what event and event reason combination it got saved. You will be able to see that as well. Any queries here? So here the point is real-time specific, if I have to say, guys. So of course the concept we have discussed, but practically in the real world, if we have to say the projects, how are they being executed, I can say 70% of the clients are not using this auto derivation, event reason derivation. Everybody will go for the manual way where the HR will select whenever they are doing the promotions or transfers, what is the respective event and the event reason, they will manually select and do it. As majority customers don't automate it because of the complexity involved, first of all. So all the possible combinations of data changes, what can happen in the job information portlet, the client has to, the business process owner has to anticipate all the possible scenarios and give us. If they miss any scenario, in that scenario, if the data change happen, system cannot bring up the event reason and it will end up with errors and all, or simple generalized data change will be saved. So to avoid that, mostly customers say that this activity is something performed by HRs only in the company, where we maximum have 5-6 HRs, where those HRs we can educate them to not to choose a wrong event reason, we can educate them. So we don't want automation and all this. So 70% plus, I can say, customers don't like event reason derivation concept. They manually choose the event and event reason. Okay, so that is about the twin concept. Same like the way you have this workflow derivation rule. Similar way we have the event reason derivation rule. These are the two topics, guys. Okay, and not limited to these two cases, we'll have several other reasons and cases where we have to use the business rules concept. So we have a lot of cases actually. So covering one example in each case, I'll try to give you the next 1 hour of discussion on business rules, where propagation rules is one concept among the propagation. So propagation is where, based on the data selected in one field, the data in the other field getting auto-updated is called propagation. Based on the data changed in one field, the data in the other field getting automatically updated is called propagation. Where in such example is where here in the employee record level. Now if I go for this nursing's case itself, go for job and compensation information, I want to make a change in the job information effective, where I want to change the location of this user, say example. So let's go to this location, which is currently some US Philadelphia location. I'm going to transfer her to Chicago location. When I choose Chicago as a location, I only updated Chicago location. But for the Chicago location, whatever is a time zone, that also got updated automatically, where I did not touch the time zone field at all. I only changed the location. For the Chicago location, whatever is the time zone, that is highlighted in the next field. So this is how, based on the data selected in one field, the data in the other field can be auto-updated. Okay, and that is what we'll be assigning, we'll be achieving through business rules, and we call it as a propagation. But we call it as a propagation only if the triggering point is a foundation object. Okay, based on the division, department, location, business unit, cost center, based on any of these fields changes, if the other fields are getting updated, then we call it as propagation, guys. We can also have a similar behavior when you're hiring an employee. If I choose salutation as Mr., gender as male, if I choose salutation as Miss or Mrs., gender as female, we can automatically update there also using business rules. But there we don't call it as propagation. We give that label called propagation only if that behavior is expected on the foundation objects only. Only on the foundation objects level, if you find that behavior, then we call it as association concept. So we call it as propagation concept. Okay, that is the way. Now, based on this location change, how did this time zone got updated is the rule that we have to look on. And here, concentrate clearly. When I change the location, system is immediately updating the time zone. I am not clicking on any save button, right? I did not click on any save button. As soon as I change the data in this field, system is updating the respective location of that field. That is, on change of data in one field, immediately the rule is getting triggered. On change of data in the field, the rule is immediately being triggered. It is not waiting for on save. On change of data, automatically it is triggering. So that is something a rule that is going to be executed at a field level. In the location field level, the rule is being executed. Okay, so that is where we are going to now look at the rule which is at a field level rule. Previously, the job information level and address portlet level, what you saw is a complete portlet level rule, but now it's a field level rule. Where, so here is where you can go for the business rules and write a rule for this purpose. That's a new learning that you'll have here, guys. Configure business rules. Now create a new rule. What should be the base object that we have to use for this rule now? Scenario is obviously the basic I'll choose. What should be the base object? If I'm going to write a rule on this field called location, when location is changed, the time zone to be updated automatically. In that case, what is the base object? Anyone? Think of it, guys. No problem. I'll wait. If the
job information.
Exactly. So these fields, location and time zone, on these fields I'm writing the condition. So these fields belongs to which portlet? Job information portlet. So obviously the base object will be the job information. Now in the job information, the normal or the model is the next question.
It's a model.
Very good. So what is the supporting answer?
So it's the triggering, like when we selected a location that is checked by that time zone. No? That is directly related to that time zone.
I did not get the correct answer.
To check the previous value of the location. Previous value of the location.
So are we required to change the previous? Are we required to check the previous value of the location here?
In case of transfers and all, it is required.
Yeah. So as per our previous learning here, yes, we have changed the location. On change of location, time zone is updating. So location change to identify, you are saying the model has to be used. Okay, very good. As per the previous learning, that is correct. But here the point is, if you see the behavior, the rule is going to be triggered. Where it is? Yeah. The rule is going to be triggered as soon as I change the data. As soon as I change the data, rule is triggering. I'm not even clicking on save anything. So immediately on the change of data in the field, if the rule is triggering, means the rule is something that is going to be assigned at a field level, guys. If you go to the manage business configuration, so previous two examples you saw, the rule is assigned at a portlet level. But now I'll show you a scenario where the rules can be also assigned at a field level. So let's go to the job information portlet on the left hand side. The right hand side, all the job info fields will appear now, in which the location is also one of the field. So here in the location field level, something is happening. As soon as I click on the field changing the data, immediately the rule is triggering. So let us go to the details of these fields, where in the location field at the extreme bottom, you will have an area where in the name of trigger rules it is. Same like in the portlet level, you will have an option to assign the trigger rules area. Here in the field level also you have it. And here the event type, when will this rule be triggered, is the only one possible event type is on change. That is, whenever there is a data change in this field, immediately this rule is getting triggered. Whenever there is a data change in this field, the rule whatever you assign here is going to be triggered. So on change, the rule is being triggered means system itself is identifying that there is a change. You need not prove that in the business rule. Previous cases, we have to prove that there is a change and then we have to trigger the workflow or event reason. But now system itself is able to identify that there is a data change because it's a field level. Field level rules will definitely identify that the data change is there. You need not write any condition. So because of the change, whenever the data is changed, immediately system is triggering the rule and our validations are being processed. So in that case, now for this purpose, if you're going to write a rule, first thing you have to identify is it is a field level rule. If it's a field level rule, I need not write any dot previous value kind of conditions. So when I need not compare with the previous value, I need not go for the model version. Normal base object is good enough. Job information here. Okay, so that is reverse engineering here. So normally when do I use model? When I have to compare the previous value. Here am I required to compare the previous value? No, because it's a field level behavior. In field level rules, system is automatically identifying the data change. I need not prove it through my condition. That is the reason I'm going with the normal one. Okay, so now it is custom propagation underscore July 3rd. And then click on continue. 1 second. So here the condition is when should the time zone be populated, guys? If there is any location immediately the location's time zone is what it has to populate. So if job information level, location field, if job information dot location is not equal to blank, that is null. If you go to the extreme bottom, you'll have an attribute called null. If job information level location is not equal to null, that means there is some input given. If there is some input given, then you trigger this. If location is not blank, you assign the time zone of that location and set. Again, here you have job information level alphabetically sorted. You will see the T time zone field. So set time zone equal to where I can't hardcode the time zone. I can't constantly maintain one time zone. So based on the location, system should be able to bring the time zone. So where do you find the time zone in the system? If I choose one location as Atlanta, for that this is a time zone. If I choose Bangalore as a location, this is a time zone. How do I know that? Think of it in the meanwhile before I show it. Where can I find the time zone? So the place where the locations are created, the master place, the manage organization page of structure. If you guys remember, for every location that you created in the system has already given you an option of maintaining the time zone of it. So now when the employee is being hired with Atlanta location, his time zone will become the Atlanta's time zone. This is the one that we have to reflect that way. So this is how we'll be able to maintain the time zones of the respective locations. So here in the business rule, to fetch the time zone at the employee record level, here I will go for job information record level. Whatever is the location chosen, to expand it in that location object, whatever is the time zone field, that is the one. So employee time zone is location's time zone. Whatever is the location's time zone, that will be the employee's time zone. That's it. Just a one-liner, done. Save this. Okay. So whenever location is not blank, there is some input given for the location. So then immediately the respective time zone also should be given. So this is one simplest rule, but the main learning agenda here is field level also you can assign the rule, and field level when you're assigning the rule, the possible event is on change. This is an important certification question. What are the event types supported at a field level rules is only on change, and in that on change, the meaning is you need not identify that there is a change or not. System itself will identify that there is a change, and when that change is occurred, system will trigger this rule. Okay, so one that we have written in the name of July 3rd. Let me assign it and click on save. I'll go to the bottom and save this. So clicking on this, now the rule is updated in the portlet at a field level. Now also the system will be able to assign the relevant time zone once this config is saved, but it will be based on our rule. And then now this is saved. Let us close this portlet and reopen it once again. So for reopening this, again, actions, change job and comp info. Job for level, I'm going to change something effective today, 3rd of July. And here when we choose the location, you see, I change it to again Chicago. Now as per my rule, the system is going to update the time zone. It has done already. So it's a field level. As soon as field level rules will trigger immediately, as soon as the data is changed, immediately it will trigger. After I change the data, again I have to click on save, nothing is required. Immediately, it's an example of field level. Any queries around?
Similarly, suppose if the company code 1710 is selected, suppose there are multiple company codes are there.
Yeah.
One too many association is there. One company code may have the multiple business units.
Okay.
So does it come the same logic, or what is the approach?
That is association, right? When I select the company, that company related.
Oh, sorry. Association. Little confusing, right?
Yeah. Even association and the propagation also we call it as a cousin concepts actually. Where
little confusing. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
The association, when based on the object that you selected here, the respective business units will be filtered. The system might have 20 business units, but only these 6 are appearing based on this company related. Okay. So, but it does not auto-populate anything. Among these 6, you have to select what is applicable. When it comes to propagation, so for this location, whatever is the time zone, it is even auto-populating. In association, it will not auto-select. It will give you the respective values. You have to choose what is applicable from here. That is it.
Sir, what is the exactly scenarios where we can use the propagation like auto-populate?
Yeah, this is one case regularly we'll have in every project based on location, time zone getting updated is one thing. Based on legal entity, they will have a default location to be populated. If I hire an employee in India, default location is Bangalore, kind of. If I hire in US, default as Chicago. Like that, there will be some cases. And we'll also see in the position management, based on the position selected, system can populate all these fields. In the initial days when the hiring level, you saw it. When I updated position, automatically system has updated the business unit, division, department, location, pay grade, supervisor, everything. If an employee is hired against this position, what will be applicable? System can propagate. That is one example. Like this, multiple. So based on the data selected in any of the foundation objects, some other fields are updating, then it is called propagation. Okay.
Finally, propagation is nothing but a auto filling of the data, right?
Exactly. Through business rules, auto populating the data is all propagation. That too, if the triggering point is foundation object only, I call it as propagation. Okay.
What sets ZaranTech apart in SAP corporate training? It's our unique blend of expertise and innovation. We offer customized courses tailored to each client's needs, ensuring relevant, targeted learning. Our vast trainer database brings you wisdom from the best in the field. Need resources? Access our extensive training material repository anytime. We are all about measurable results, providing detailed student metrics to track progress. And we don't just teach, we build community. Join our thriving social media network, connecting learners beyond boundaries. With ZaranTech, you are not just training, you are transforming your SAP expertise.
So now this is an example of a field level rule that we have written. Now let's go and look. Oh, sorry, there's a question.
Yes, sir. Hi. Suppose in base object level, if we select job information model instead of job information field level, so what is the result we can expect at that point?
Even then it will work. The point is, job information model will have more functionalities, job information will have less functionalities. But there will be very rare situations where the functionality available in normal version will not be available in the model version.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's still it will be working, right?
That's what. Here in this case, it will work. But there are few cases where if you go for the model, what works in the normal one doesn't work in the model.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
In this case, it will definitely work as long as that doesn't have.
Yeah, because I saw when we selected job information model, even then we were having that option called on change.
Exactly. That on change is at field level. That doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
Okay. So is that required to go for model or not is what we have to understand. Model will have lot more. Okay. It has lot more functions, lot more usage and all. So even to have the system performance and the immediate triggering response time and all, we avoid models if it is unnecessary.
Okay, sir. Yeah, thank you.
And then now let us look at one more example of a field level rule, guys, to make this topic clear. So add new employee. So if I'm going to add a new employee, here you see this salutation is auto populated as Mr. Okay, where by default it doesn't populate anything. It will be free field, actually a free text field initially. I mean, not free text, a blank field, where we have to select from the drop down what is the salutation based on the hiring, whether I'm hiring a male or a female. But in my previous one of the sessions, I made it to auto populated as Mr. in the scenario that this company has 70% male associates, and whenever a new hiring happens, 70% of the chances are going to be for a male hiring, only 30% cases for a female. So we want to keep it as Mr. auto populated. If it is a female hiring, we will change it to Miss or Mrs. is what the discussion is. So in that case, as soon as the screen gets populated, it has to be auto populated with Mr. is the requirement. So we have achieved it through business rule. Okay. Just a moment. Okay. But sorry, excuse me. I guess this is not the rule that I have to now discuss about this date of birth, because I told field level rule, one more example, right? So field level rule, this one is what I want to say. So now the date of birth, if I'm going to enter something like a person who is hired in 2012, if I'm going to hire, so 2012 means it's only 10 years. He's not an adult. Okay. So I can't hire people with less than 18 years. Now you see this error got triggered immediately. As soon as they given the input, the error got triggered. I did not click on any save or anything. That's where again on this date of birth field level, the rule is triggering. Field level rule again, right? So for having these kinds of validations and all, so field level rules can be used again. And for writing this rule, first the prerequisite is you should have your whatever is the text that you want to trigger as an error, you should be configuring that text, guys. So in this example, we are going to look at the way how One more example of a field level rule along with the error validations kind of, if you want to trigger some validations. So for that, how do you define your error text and all? We are going to configure. So the error text is an MDF based object actually. If you go for manage data, in the manage data, you will have one MDF object in the name of message. You give the keyword as message. We are defining the message, right? So it is message definition, it says message definition, and there are a lot of message definition values that are present in the system. So if we go for this, so there is one India maternity as one text where this is an error. This is a text that will be triggered when if somebody is trying to apply for maternity leave more than 26 weeks, it says only 26 weeks of maternity leave is allowed. Kind of a error text is going to be triggered. That is a text that we have defined here with the code as India_maternity. That way, for my current case, I can create on the right hand side, create new message definition. Create new message definition is what I'm saying on the right hand side top corner. And when I go for that create new message definition, here we have the text. So the text is, yes, the text is 18 years is the minimum age of employment in this organization. Like this, I'm going to give it error text. Okay. And for that, the code is some custom age validation. Code already exists. It's custom age validation. The same code is what I'm also giving as a name. That's it. So for this text, we have given one code and name and save it. Now, this error text is what I have to call in the business rule. So I have to write the business rule. So the business rule, if I have to write, let us first understand the logic. Whenever, if anybody is being hired whose age is less than 18 years, we have to throw an error. Now the condition in simple English language is, if age is less than 18, that is a if condition. If age is less than 18. So do you have the age here on the screen? No. You have the date of birth on the screen. Based on the date of birth entered on the screen, you should have a logic to calculate the age. There is some calculation happening in the business rule. That means, so once that calculation has calculated the age, that age value is where we are required to compare whether it is less than 18 or greater than 18, whatever. And if it is less than, I have to throw an error. So now we have to write a rule for validating that thing. Let us go for configure business rules, create new rule. Again, the basic scenario I prefer as usual. And what is the base object that has to be used here for this case? For writing the condition on this date of birth field, what should be the base object?
Personal info.
Personal info, one answer. Any others? Base object that I have to take for this writing a field, writing a condition on this date of birth field. Again, tell me, what is the logic in finding the base object?
Basically,
Employee profile.
Sorry, can you repeat that, sir? What you're saying?
Employee profile.
No. Somebody is explaining. Basically, they're saying something.
The date of birth only, sir, we have to take it. We need to calculate current date, date of birth.
I'm not asking about the logic. I am asking about, to start the business rule, what is the base object first? Logic is secondary. What is the base object? How do you identify the base object for writing the business rule? Guys, I made it very clear. For picking the base object, on which field you are writing the rule, that field belongs to which portlet, that is a base object. Now it is clearly shown that date of birth is under a field portlet called biographical information on the screen. Why is nobody answering that?
Biographical information about date of birth.
So first of all, you guys are not able to confidently say that biographical information is a base object because you don't know that there is a portlet called biographical information. Somebody told the answer as personal information. Why not biographical? Because you don't know that there is a portlet called biographical information in the system. If you know that, you would have confidently told. Previously, as you told job information is a base object, you would have told biographical information also. So here you have this biographical information as a base object, as a portlet actually, which has some fields of information in it. Why do you don't know that there is a portlet called biographical? Because you are not spending time on the system. All of you guys have the access to the SuccessFactors system. Sit in front of it. You need not do configuration, practice anything. At least first understand what is there in the system. Open one employee profile. From top to bottom, scan slowly what all portlets we have. In person information, what kind of fields information is being stored? What is work permit information portlet? In this, what kind of information is being stored? So like this, when you spend time, you'll understand these things like I have this kind of portlets. In an interview, suddenly your interview will ask you, name 10 portlets in EC that you know. Maximum 5, 6 you will say. If you can't even list down 10 if you do in the similar way. You have to spend time on the system. All these portlet names should be on your fingertips. At least looking at the portlet, we should be able to identify whether this is a portlet or not. Biographical information is a portlet that you have to first understand. So then when I say I'm writing a condition on this field and I ask you a base object, obviously biographical information is the base object. You should confidently answer it. Okay. So now base object is biographical. Now in the biographical, the normal or the model. Should we go for the normal or the model version?
Normal.
Sir, we are not comparing, right? Normal only.
We are required to go for the normal only because we are not going to compare the previous value. Very good. So as per our current learning, we should go for the normal. But I am going to go for the model.
Oh.
The reason is we have total 4 reasons why we should go for the model version, where till now 1 reason, which is checking the previous value only we saw. But now it is the second reason we are going to use, that is functions. If we are going to make use of some functions in the business rule, you need to go for the model. That is here to calculate the age. I need some calculation done in the system. I don't have age directly given on the screen. Date of birth is given. From date of birth, I have to calculate the age. So in that process of calculating the age, I make use of some functions. So to make use of functions, I need to go for the model version. Okay. So that is the second reason why we should go for the model version, making use of some functions. So custom age validation July 3. Click on continue. So now the point is, in the simple English language, if age less than 18 is the condition. So first age is what I have to calculate. So here the point is, if age is less than 18 means here the date of birth is only there, I don't have age. For that, collapse this. And here you have the functions, adding, multiplying, averaging, different things, out of which we have one function called difference in calendar years. If I go for this difference in calendar years as a function, so this is a function where it will ask me, give me the from date and to date, where from date is employee's date of birth dot value. From that date till date, go to the extreme bottom and click on this today as a function where system will take the server date. If today, if it is the business rule is being triggered, date server date it will take. From the entered date of birth till date, what is the difference system will calculate. So from date of birth as 2012 till date as 2022, the difference is 10 years. So that is the age that will come here. If that age of 10 is less than 18, enter this as 18. That's it. Age less than 18. Age is calculated through this function. Difference in calendar years as a function. So because we are making use of this function, model version is used here. The second reason why we should use model. So if that age is less than 18, then here one more new learning is, this time we are using this raise message. Instead of set, for workflow we used to set, for event reason we used to set, for time zone auto-populating we used as set, but this time raise message is what we are using. So raise which message? The one that I have created, that validation related, custom age validation. Once you choose that, immediately on the screen, system will give you that preview of the message also. 18 years is the minimum age of employment in this organization. Should that text be coming as an information message or an error or a warning? I want it as an error. If it is error, it will stop you. If it is info or warning, it will not stop you. It's just a message. Even if you change or not, it will allow you. But if it is error, it will not allow you to go forward. That if age is less than 18, raise message. That is it. Any questions on the business rule logic?
Can you explain from here, from if condition which you have taken just now? Let's repeat it again.
So first, my logic of this business rule is to identify those people who are having an age less than 18. So my if condition is, if age less than 18 is my if condition in the general English. So if age less than 18 means first I need to have the age. So age is what we calculate in the runtime. I don't have it on the screen. In the rule itself, I have to calculate it. If I already have the age as one of the field, I will just choose that field here in the drop down. So instead of date of birth, if I have a field called age, I'll pick that field. If age is less than 18, directly I'll write the condition. But this time it is, I have to calculate the age. So that is if condition I am using. In the if condition, I am using the functions. So first, these are the portlet fields. collapse it. And here you have different functions for calculating, for performing different kinds of calculations and all. You have different functions here, in which this difference in calendar years is one function that will help you in calculating the age. So this calendar years is a function that I've selected, for which the input it is asking is from which date to which date you want to calculate the difference. So that is, I want to calculate the difference between the employee's given date of birth and date. Between that two, if the number of calendar years are only 10, then that is definitely less than 18. I have to throw an error. Got it?
Yes. Thank you.
So now let us save this rule. So once you save the rule, now what should be the next step, guys?
We should go in manage business configuration.
We should go to manage business configuration and assign that rule. Very good. So go into the business configuration. Which portlet should I go here?
Biographical.
Very good. Biographical information. Can you guys identify which is the one on the left hand side here?
Personal info.
Personal info is a personal information portlet we already have. So no problem. So that's a common thing that nobody can identify in the first time. Just below personal info, you have something called as person info, guys. So person info is biographical information. So this person info. So this is a quite confusing thing. So you will be used to it slowly. So personal is personal info. Person is biographical, like that. Okay. So now we are into the portlet. Now where should I assign this rule?
Trigger rule.
Trigger rule. Yeah.
In the date of birth.
In the date of birth field level. This is a behavior I'm expecting at a field level. It's not at a portlet level, at a field level. As soon as I change the data in the field, the rule has to trigger and bring the error message. So it's a field level. So in that case, which field? Date of birth field. Go to the details of it. In the date of birth field related trigger rules area at the bottom, here we have to assign it. First, the base object is model, biographical information model. Event is only on change is only possible event. And the rule is the one that I've written with July 3 with date. Select that rule. That's it. Click on done. Click on done. So this is one more example of a field level rule, which is going to have the conditions like calculations of age. So in this, the things what you have learned is, you have learned the second reason why we should use model version, how to use the functions, where to create the text, error text. If you are going to use that error text, here in the then, we have to use a raise message instead of set. Raise message is a function that you have to use here. So these are all the different new learnings in this rule that you have learned. Okay, this is saved. Now, if I go for this add new employee once again, so here in add new employee, and I'm again giving the date of birth same way in 2012, where this time age of employment in this organization is 18. This is a new error text as per our error text. New one, it got. If I give something in 2002, which is almost 20 years, now there is no error. Immediately, the input has taken that. So this is how the one more field level rule is written with all these raise message options, validation related scenarios. Now, field level rules, also two examples we saw, and portlet level rules already with event type as on save. We saw two things. One is for address portlet for workflow, other is for job information portlet for event reason trigger. Two on save events we saw. Now we look into on init, guys. Yeah, I'm back here. So we have to look at the rules which are like on init, on view, save alert, all these as well. So I guess we'll be able to now cover on init. The other two we'll look in the further sessions. On init is one, we'll look at one more. The last one, on post save, is not relevant to us. Only the first four are applicable. On init is an event where, so first if you recollect on save again, whenever I'm clicking on the save button, the rule is triggering. Whenever I click on the save button, this rule will trigger. Now I need on init as an event where on init means when the screen is initializing. Now if I click on add new employee, I open this transaction. Screen is going to be loaded. When the new screen is getting loaded, some rules and logics can be executed in the background. So that thing is on init. When your rule has to be triggered when screen is opening on initializing, that is where we call on init. For that, the example is this, where system has auto-populated the salutation as Mr. as per my previous config, but actually standard it will be blank, like company is blank, event reason is blank and all, even salutation will be blank. In my previous example, I have kept it to Mr. Now I'll do a logic in such a way it will be set it to Miss example. Miss. If my client's requirement is by default, it should be kept as miss in the new hiring screen. So how do we achieve it is this. When the screen is loading itself, if the rule has to be triggered, then we have to use this on init as an event. Okay. So for that case, if I have to auto-populate this salutation, what should be the base object? What should be the base object for writing a business rule to auto-populate the salutation field? I'm creating the new rule. Now tell me the base object.
Information.
Sorry?
Personal data.
Personal information, guys. Exactly. So here you should not confuse. Name information is not a portlet. So these fields, first name, middle name, last name, are all these part of the employee's personal information portlet. Here, first name, last name, middle name, salutation, and all are part of personal information, the very first portlet. So the base object should be taken as it is personal info. Where even here we'll have two things: personal info, info model. Two things are there. Now, what should we use, the normal or the model? We have two reasons as of now. One is for
Normal.
previous condition. Normal. Yeah. Any supporting reason for that?
Here we are not validating any previous data.
Previous value, yeah, it's by default.
Yeah. So that
And
is
moreover, we are not using the functions also.
exactly. We are not making any calculations. So functions are also not being used. So both the conditions are ruled out. So the normal one is good enough. Very good. Now custom is that salutation. So populate something underscore July 3. Continue. So now for the salutation to be auto-populated, is there any if condition? My customer did not tell me if this is the case, then you have auto-populated. If this is the case, don't auto-populate it. He did not tell me anything. He just told when I come to add new employee, immediately I need that field to be auto-populated. So here in this example that you are something new that you're going to learn is you can have rules written without if condition also, where here if you keep this as always true as a checkbox, activate this always true checkbox. So irrespective of anything, once this rule is triggered, whatever you write in the then condition, that will be performed. My then condition is setting. Set the personal information field dot salutation equal to all the salutation values are coming in the drop down. So whichever I want, I can set it. So miss. So whenever this rule got triggered, immediately the if condition has nothing to do. It is default true. Here whatever is written, that will be set. That's it. So in this example, we are seeing a logic where you can have the rules written without if condition, only the then. I want this to happen. That's it. I don't have any reason, any conditions, this thing to happen. That's it. Now we have to connect this rule with the portlet. So where should I connect it here, guys? In which portlet and where it is that?
Personal information.
Personal information portlet. Is that a field level or a portlet level?
Portlet level.
Portlet level, because that event itself, on init event itself is available at only portlet level. So first is the base object. Choose the base object as personal info. That is already selected. The event is on init. On when the screen is initializing, I want it. And the one that is created with July 3rd. Click on save. Now this time, when I open this add new employee again, previously it is Mr. auto-populated. Now you will see it is auto-populating as Miss, where that rule is going to be triggered when the screen is loading itself. Here, when this loading icon is happening, here itself, the business rule is triggering and miss is got auto-populated automatically. Here, any queries around? Yes. So this is all for now.
Is it taking the current date kind of directly is coming higher date? Higher date
is a default framework. Every time it will take the current date from
current
the
date.
We need not write any
written any rule or kind of?
No, we need not write anything. It's a framework behavior default.
Like first name, if you are giving any special characters, comma, full stop kind of thing, some kind of thing is showing error.
Yeah, we can definitely make use of some business rules functions for that as well. So when we are writing the rules, if it is personal information, right? Yeah. Right, while you're writing building the rule conditions, you can go for the if condition level. So if first name, so here for that, here you'll have different conditions that you can use actually, different functions actually, which will be helping you to find some kind of things. So here characters and all, I think it's something called contains.
My company period itself is not allowing. It will throw the error. That's the reason I register.
I don't get you. Can you come again?
In my company, when we are doing some description, that period, full stop, it will throw the error. Don't use the special character kind of thing.
We have functions. I'm not saying no, that is definitely allowed. So this substring, the substring related is one. Get a substring from the input text kind of this thing where when it is comparing the data in the substring level. So if it is coming in special characters, in the if conditions, they can involve the conditions like if, at the rate, full stop, hash, slash, forward slash, backward slash, all that symbols we can include. So from the substring, if it is involving any of that condition, any of those parameters, to throw an error, we can. Similarly, if the length should not be more than 20 characters input. So here we have length related, where it is somewhere the length. If you pass a value, the length of that, how many input characters are there for it. So like this, we have different functions. Okay. So in the documentation that I'm going to send you this week, which is on both, what do you say, this workflows, business rules and all, there is one document already in the blog. Also, you have it already in the drive level, where a dedicated document for business rule functions. So there is almost a document with around 180, 200 pages, I guess. Different functions. All these functions are explained in it. Which function is for which purpose. So nobody will be going and sitting and by hearting all these functions related. So based on the need, we'll go to the document and we search for it. So for my requirement, if there are any functions relevant kind of, we do Google. In Google, somebody says some function. That function I'll open this in this document, how to use that function, and I'll read the document. That way we use it. Okay, nobody can remember all the functions usage. Okay, but for your requirement, definitely we have the possibility. Most probably this substring related only will be the one that will be used. Thank you.
Thank you so much